Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Frequency Shift with Alexis Gallagher and Susan Elliott. And we are diving into, we're still on the science of getting rich. And this is the heart of it. We're in chapter 7, 8, and 9. And so Wallace Wattles, he's talking about um, how thoughts become things, how gratitude becomes a magnetic force, and your mind becomes the channel through which abundance flows. And he explained your ability to think truth, regardless of appearances, is the key to rising above circumstances. So we're going to dive into this, and it's great. I love this. I love the first chapter. So the first chapter that we're studying today is chapter 7, which is gratitude. And so he's talking, when you hear gratitude, you just think, oh, well, I think optimistic or I'm grateful for this, but then the rest of the day you forget about it and then you're back into your regular old self. Well, so he says, what you need to do in order to stay in this gratitude, it is necessary to relate yourself to the formless substance, the formless intelligence in a harmonious way. To secure the harmonious relation is a matter of such primary and vital importance that I shall give some space to its discussion here and give you instructions for which you will follow them, if you will follow them, will be certain to bring you into perfect unity of mind with the supreme power or God. The whole process of mental adjustment can be summed up in one word: gratitude. So first, he says you believe that there is one intelligent substance from which all things proceed. Second, you believe that this substance gives you everything you desire. And third, you relate yourself to it by a feeling of deep, profound gratitude. Many people who order their lives rightly in all other ways are kept in poverty by their lack of gratitude. Having received one gift from God, they cut the wires which connect them with Him by failing to make the acknowledgement. So both Alexis and I start out every day, and this is not intended as bragging, it's just to put yourself in the right mindset. You must start yourself every day with gratitude. So I do 10 things I'm grateful for every single day. I write it in a notebook, but I also go back and I ask myself, why am I grateful? Why are you grateful for this hot cup of coffee today? You know, why are you grateful that your puppy is healthy? And then that really puts you in an emotional state of that deep feeling of gratitude.
Yeah, that's great. Gratitude is such an important key in this material and understanding. And yeah, like you were saying, Susan, it's easy to brush over it, but when you get really into understanding the deep profoundness of living gratitude, it's like you're just so overwhelmingly grateful for everything, even the things that don't seem good for you.
That's right. And Bob would say you be grateful for everything, whether it's good or bad. And I saw something which was really great. The same goes along the same line the other day with Warren Buffett, that he says, no matter what happens to you, think about three things. Why is that good? Well, he said something to the effect, oh, I got a flat tire. Well, what's good about that? Well, I have a car. I wouldn't have a
Yeah,
flat tire if I didn't have a car. Well, I'm
that's
glad I have a
exactly.
spare.
Yeah.
Or he says, I spilled coffee on myself. Well, I'm glad I have another shirt.
Right. Yeah,
And
that's exactly it. That's exactly it.
it forces your mind to rethink a different way instead of thinking the old way. And that's what part of it is about. So Wallace goes on and he says, the good things you have already have come to you along the line of obedience to certain laws. Gratitude will lead your mind out along the ways by which things come and it will keep you in close harmony with creative thought and prevent you from falling into competitive thought. Gratitude alone can keep you looking toward the all and prevent you from falling into the error of thinking of the supply as limited. And to do that would be fatal to your hopes. There is a law of gratitude. It is absolutely necessary. You should observe the law if you are to get the results you think or you seek, excuse me. The law of gratitude is the natural principle that action and reaction are always equal and in opposite directions. The grateful outreaching of your mind and thankful praise to the supreme intelligence is a liberation or expenditure of force.
Wow.
Yes, so gratitude, be grateful for everything. And I know some days you do not feel like it. You just don't feel like it. And if you just think of one small thing that you're grateful for, it kind of works like a little domino effect. You start thinking of more things that you can be grateful for.
Hmm.
Um, and so yeah, it's a powerful, powerful force. So he goes on, he says, if your gratitude is strong and constant, the reaction in formless substance will be strong and continuous. The movement of the things you want will always be toward you. Notice the grateful attitude that Jesus took, how he always seems to be saying, I thank thee, Father, that thou hearest me. You cannot exercise much power without gratitude, for it is gratitude that keeps you connected with the power. But the value of gratitude does not consist solely in getting you more blessings in the future. Without gratitude, you cannot long keep from dissatisfied thought regarding things as they are. And then he says, if you fix your attention upon the common, the ordinary, the poor, the squalid, and the mean, and your mind takes the form of these things. So yeah, you want
Where, yeah, where
to
your energy's going, right? And even if you think you're doing good by thinking of them, it's not, the best thing you can do is because then the universe is going to show you more of that, right? And create more of that in the world. So the best thing you can do is bless them with you have the knowledge to create greater good for yourself, or you see an overweight person on the street, and in your mind you send them, you have the power and knowledge to, create your perfect weight, things like that. So you're sending these blessings out there, and that energy and that gratitude of the things that you want for yourself too. And that's how we create better results for ourselves and for the world too.
wow, that's wonderful. I love that. So he goes on in this chapter, he says, do not waste a lot of time thinking or talking about the shortcomings or wrong actions of those in power. Their organization of the world has created your opportunity. All you get really comes to you because of them. Do not rage against corrupt politicians. If it were not for politicians, we would fall into anarchy and your opportunity would be greatly lessened. He said, God has worked a long time and very patiently to bring us up to where we are in industry and government. He's going on right on with his work. There's not the least doubt that he will do away with whatever, politicians or captains of industry as they can be spared. In the meantime, they're all very necessary. So I love that, how he says, do not focus on that's basically focusing on something that you don't want, basically.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah, so I kind of lost my train of thought. I was thinking of something Wayne Dyer said, and I totally lost my train of thought. But anyway,
It'll
so
come to you.
we're on to chapter 8, thinking in a certain way. So this is so important too, thinking in a certain way. So he says at the very beginning of this chapter to turn back to chapter 6 and read it again about the story of the man who formed a mental image of the house that he wanted and what steps he needed to take. So he says you must form a clear and definite mental picture of what you want. You cannot transmit any idea unless you have it for yourself. So it's important right here to note that writing it down is very important. People say, well, I can just think it in my mind. You can, but writing it down makes it much more powerful. And Bob used to teach that, to take a pen and paper and write it down. Don't type it on a computer, write it down. So you must have it before you can give it. And many people fail to impress thinking substance because they themselves only have a vague and misty concept of the things they want to do, to have, or become. It's not enough that you should have a general desire for wealth to do good with. Everybody has that desire. So he's going on, he says, the clear mental picture you must have continually in your mind. So that's why you do affirmations throughout the day, or you do them morning and night, because if you forget, it's so easy to forget and get back into that old mindset.
Hmm.
As the sailor has in mind the port towards which he is sailing the ship, you must keep your face toward it all the time. You must no more lose sight of it than the helmsman loses sight of the compass. It is not necessary to take exercises in concentration, nor to set apart special times for prayer and affirmation, nor to go into silence, nor to do occult stunts of any kind. Some of these things are well enough, but all you need is to know what you want and want it so badly enough that it will stay in your thoughts. Spend as much of your leisure time as you can in contemplating your picture. So, I mean, Napoleon Hill talks about that, about building desire and keeping it in your thoughts. That's why it's so important to build it, to do your affirmations, and to stay focused and use your will, which is one of the higher mental faculties, to stay focused on what you do want.
And I say like use it throughout your day, like you're constantly getting that vision to come in of what you want while you're doing your other daily stuff from work to, daily life stuff. And you're constantly releasing that, knowing like it's already done and then that gratitude going, thank you that it's already done. And then just keeping that vision coming through you for the whole day. And then that's when um results manifest really quickly.
And that's what Alexis is saying, is how you keep yourself in that mindset. When you say it is done, it's already done, whatever it is that you're working towards, it puts you in that frame of mind that it's already done. So you don't have to keep thinking in lack and limitation. If it's already done, you're not thinking that way. You're thinking, oh, it's done. It's already here. My goal is already manifested. Behind your clear vision must be the purpose to realize it, to bring it out in tangible expression. And behind this purpose must be an invincible and unwavering faith that thing is already yours, that it is at hand, and you have only to take possession of it. Live in the new house mentally until it is physically around you. In the mental realm, enter at once into full enjoyment of the things you want. So yeah, it's easy to say, well, in reality, I don't have it. In reality, I'm gonna think this way because I don't have it. Well, yeah, that is true. And our logical mind, our logical brain wants to always look for that. But
Hmm.
no, we have to keep our mind on living from the inside out.
Right.
So he goes on, he says, the person who can sincerely thank God for the things that as yet he owns only in imagination has real faith. He will
That's
get rich.
That's so good. Like sincerely, right? It puts like another level to that, like really believing that it's happening for you. Love that.
Right, I do too. He will cause the creation of whatever he wants. So your part is to intelligently formulate your desire for the things which make for a larger life and to get these desires arranged in a coherent whole, and then to impress the whole desire upon the formless substance which has the power and the will to bring you what you want. So yeah, keeping your faith and purpose. He says, keep your focused and thinking, keep yourself focused and thinking in the certain way of with words. You make it by holding the vision with unshakable purpose to attain it and with steadfast faith that you do attain it. So that's how you think in a certain way. That's what he means by thinking in a certain way, that it's already here. And you do it with an attitude of gratitude, but you also do it with your thinking, acting, and feeling that it's already here. So, I mean, we could go off on faith and talk about faith for a long time because building your faith is so important, which it's Napoleon talks about faith a lot in Think and Grow Rich and having faith and belief.
Yeah, I just like to, in a snapshot, just think of it like it's that knowing, like you know, it's done and happening for you. And it's a solidness in you, that unwaveringness, you know. For me, that's a snapshot of what faith is when you're working on creating different results for yourself or going for those really, big goals. Um, yeah, I think that's great.
Right. So this chapter, thinking in a certain way, is basically holding your vision with clarity and refusing to be influenced by appearances and thinking from abundance rather than about abundance. So there's a big difference between
Really
thinking
good.
from abundance and thinking about abundance.
That's such a key point, Susan. That's excellent. Yeah, because I think that's a really easy thing to like skip over and where, you can be studying this stuff and then maybe you have a certain goal that's not coming to fruition for you, right? And so you kind of have to go back and see, okay, what am I missing here? I'm not exactly in praxis or alignment if I'm not getting the result I want. And so it's in the little details like that, you know? Because because you start to have these goals and you think, well, wait, is that what I really want? Right? Or am I just settling? Because if I can really have whatever I want, right, and there's this overflowing abundance of anything, then most people I would bet are going to pick something different than maybe they're already thinking of getting, right? If you're like, I'm totally unlimited supply. What kind of car do I really want to drive? What kind of house do I really want to live in? What kind of clothes do I want to wear? And so on and so forth, you know. What do you
Mm-hmm.
really want your human experience to be?
Right. And yeah, and I love the fact that Bob always pointed out, he says the car isn't really the goal, it's who you become in obtaining the car or the home or the job or whatever. It's growing and expanding.
Hmm. Yeah, that's an excellent point.
So, okay, so now we're into chapter 9, and he's talking about how to use the will. Um, and so the will, like I said, and Alexis and I studied with Bob, the will is one of your higher mental faculties, which a lot of us students don't ever learn how to use. To set about getting rich in a certain way, you do not try to apply your willpower to anything outside yourself. You have no right to do so anyway. It is wrong to apply your will to other men and women in order to get them to do what you wish done. It is a flagrantly wrong to coerce people to mental power as it is to coerce them in physical power. So if compelling people by physical force to do things for you reduces them to slavery, compelling them by mental means accomplish exactly the same thing. The only difference is the method. So he's emphasizing that you use the will for yourself, to build yourself, to change yourself, not to do it to try to change somebody else. So then he's going on in this chapter and he says, you do not have to try to compel God to give you good things any more than you have to use your willpower to make the sun rise. You do not have to use your willpower to conquer an unfriendly deity or to make stubborn and rebellious forces do your bidding. Substance is friendly to you and is more anxious to give you what you want than you are to get it. To get rich, you need only to use your willpower upon yourself. When you know what you think and do, then you must use your will to compel yourself to think and do the right things.
I love that. I love so much about that. I think the will, the concentration, being able to keep your mind focused on what you want. But I also love the line you said where the universe is more eager or anxious to give you what you want than you are to receive it. And there's so much there that we could go into, but it's like, wow, when I heard that for the first time, it's like, oh my God, like the universe wants to give me all these things that I've been wanting, but I don't think I can get. That's such a mind shift. And then it opens up all sorts of doors that you can start working with, And it's like you really can have whatever you want.
Yes, yes, that's so, yeah, so powerful. Um, when we grasp it, when we actually understand it and start acting. I mean, it's so important. And that's another thing Bob always said was in all you're getting, get understanding. So the more you understand yourself and other people, then the easier it is to relate into the world and express yourself more fully.
Yeah, and then what else I was going to say on that is like the forest scene, right? Like you don't have to you think, okay, I gotta think like really hard about this thing. I gotta make it happen, right? And that's when you're really like blocking yourself or how am I gonna do it or where's this or that gonna come from? And then it's remembering that how isn't really our job, it's the what. And the universe takes care of the rest. And when we're more in a relaxed state and asking and believing and receiving, that's how you collapse time. That's how you manifest your dreams and desires quickly by being in that relaxed kind of knowing state where you're not forcing this thing because you're working with the universe and it's going to deliver you what you want.
Well, we're so taught from the time we're little that you have to force it to make it happen. I mean, a lot of people, I mean, I used to think that you had to force it, and you don't. You have to open we stop it by our thinking. We stop it by lack and limitation, by fear, by anxiety, by anger.
Mhm.
That's how it's stopped. We stop the flow because we get into that mindset and then we forget all about all the wonderful things that are happening in our life because we're focused on what's wrong.
Mhm.
So he goes on, he says, the picture of your desires held with faith and purpose is taken up by the formless and permeates it to great distances throughout the universe, for all we know. As this impression spreads, all things are set moving towards its realization. Every living thing, every inanimate thing, and the things yet uncreated are stirred toward bringing into being what you want. all force being begins to be exerted in that direction, all things begin to move toward you. The minds of people everywhere are influenced toward doing the things necessary to fulfilling of the desire, and they work for you unconsciously. So if you really think about it, I mean, as a lot of great teachers and scientists say, everything is energy. And if you're focused on those positive things you want, then that's how the law of attraction works. If you're thinking about poverty or somebody else getting something, that's what the universe says, okay, that's what you want, here you go. But if
Hmm.
you're thinking about abundance and you're feeling abundant and acting in a certain way and staying focused on what you want, then it's going to bring you that. And yeah, you have to stay in that feeling of gratitude and having the right attitude all day long. And I know it's not always easy.
Yeah. Things come up. We get challenged with our own obstacles that are illusions, and we got to just remember, hey, it's for the growth. I'm meant to grow here when things come up, and that's a good thing. And then you thank it and you be grateful for it because you know that you're becoming a bigger and better you.
Exactly. So he's going on, he says, for it is your will that you determine the things that you want, you fix your attention on them. If you want to become rich, you must not make a study of poverty. Things are not brought into being by thinking about their opposites. Health is never to be obtained by studying disease and thinking about disease. Righteousness is not to be promoted by studying sin and thinking about sin. And no one ever got rich by studying poverty and thinking about poverty. Medicine as a science of disease has increased disease. Religion as a science of sin has promoted sin. And economics as a study of poverty will fill the world with wretchedness and want. Do not talk about poverty. Do not investigate it or concern yourself with it. Never mind what its causes are. You have nothing to do with them. What concerns you is the cure. Do not spend your time in so-called charitable work, and do some of these bold statements challenge or confuse you? Get the insights and thoughts of other like-minded people in the or charity movements. Most charity only tends to perpetuate the wretchedness it aims to eradicate. I do not say that you should be hard-hearted or unkind and refuse to hear the cry of the need, but you must not try to eradicate poverty in any of the conventional ways. Put it behind you and put all that pertains to it behind you and make good. Get rich. That is the best way you can help the poor. And you cannot hold the mental image that is to make you rich if you fill your mind with pictures of poverty and all its attendant ills. So that is so challenging and powerful. I agree with that. And yeah, the first time you hear it, you're like, what? But it does make sense. I mean, when I think about first studying Bob's first book in his seminar, his partner was emphasizing, he says, do you love health more than you hate illness? It's like, wow, okay, which one? Which emotion? Well, of course I love health more than I hate illness. Well, then quit putting your energy on hating illness. Put your energy on loving health. And so that's how partly I changed my life around. That is how I changed my health totally around, is doing that. And so it works the same way with anything else. It works the same way with poverty and wealth. If you talk about it and you give it energy, that's what you're going to have. And it's not being hard-hearted or mean. Of course, you care about other people. And part of
Right.
you enriching yourself is going to enrich them.
Yeah, that's an excellent point, Susan.
And yeah, so at the end, he's talking about people must be taught to become rich by creation, not by competition. So he emphasizes that, and it is very important. It has to do with creation, not competition. So yeah, these are such powerful principles, and you just remember that gratitude keeps you in connection with abundance. And when you think in a certain way, it aligns your mind with the creative force that shapes your reality. Using your will correctly protects your vision and it keeps you focused on what you want, not what you fear. So these chapters, these chapters, they form the mental foundation of wealth creation. They teach you how to think, how to feel, and how to hold your vision so firmly the universe has no choice but to respond to you. If you master the principles, you don't just change your finances, you change your identity, your energy, and your entire life.
It's so good. It's true. It works. It absolutely works if you're willing to put in the work, and do it. And that's the question you have to ask yourself. You can't be like half in and half out, right? You have to be all the way committed. And don't accept it, don't reject it, but use it. Use what we're sharing with you. Use it for 30 days. And if you miss, and then your clock starts over, but it's something that really works and it will change your life forever. It changed Susan's life. It changed my life. And we are so grateful for all our listeners out there. We can't wait to see you on the coaching side and working with us directly. So please reach out to Susan and me. You can find us, email us, get in touch with us. Make it the best year of your life yet to come. So here on the Frequency Shift, we're grateful, and we'll see you next time. And Susan,
Thank you. Bye bye,
thank you.
everyone.
Bye bye.